Just tell me when we're live. I want to make sure that we are getting heard by people. Hopefully, this Wi-Fi business has fixed some of this.
There it is.
Let's see there. Oh, we're showing live. See if we can get that down. It sounds pretty good. See, I'm not showing. There we go. The sound is good. Hey, Mason Chandler's watching.
Hey, Mason. That's right.
Mr. Bill Ramsey, I know you're watching, buddy. Let me know how this sounds. We're hoping that hopefully we've got all the buffering issues resolved, and we've got the sound resolved. We added internet to the shop. It's been a day, y'all. It's been a day, man. I'm exhausted.
Oh, man.
I am exhausted. All right, Mr. Bill, you're scaring me, Mr. Bill. You better come on and get on this thing. Mr. Robert Haywood, no Pops is watching.
Oh, man.
Still hadn't greased those bearings.
Looking at me, he said, grease them bearings later. Let's get it done.
There's Bill Randall.
Hey,
Sounds good, my friend.
Hey, John.
Mr. Bill. Is John on here too?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Mike Yarbrough.
I got off the whole thing.
Gobble, gobble. You're exactly right. Hey.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. There it is.
You like that, John?
I'm just trying to get back on there. There it is. Mr. Bill, so we sound pretty good? Say what, bud? Good. Gobble, gobble. John said he's going to be Mr. Kenneth Darling. Hope it sounds good to you, buddy. We cut loose, buddy. We'll wait till we go live, and then I'll explain the other. Cutting Mr. Bill's place. Mr. Bill. I'm going to tell him how you appreciated my truck if you keep on. Awesome tonight, Mr. Bill said. Mr. Bill.
Yeah,
you got to do that, Mr. Bill. You got to give him thumbs up.
Bob.
Ready for tonight. Hey, Mr. Bobby, how you doing, sir? Ought to be a good show. We hope it's going to be a good show. We're all about half exhausted from working.
Besides Daniel.
Besides Daniel.
Really?
I agree.
You got to cut up in here.
I got my steps in today, so I'm good.
Do what?
I got my steps in today, so we're good.
Yeah,
I got
yeah.
a few of them.
Hey,
Both of y'all.
Hey,
man,
he had me beat, brother. I promise you. Hey, look at her. Yeah.
And before next show, I'm gonna get my face burnt so we can.
There you go. There you go. It's 7 o'clock, guys. All right, guys. Hey, everybody. It's 7 o'clock. We're going to get started. So, hello, everyone, and welcome to Wildlife Addiction. We're a live Facebook and YouTube show. This program is for hunters by hunters, and our goal here is to we want to be a resource in helping you men and women become better outdoorsmen. That's what our true goal is. I'm Keith Haywood.
I'm Rodney McBride. I'm Daniel Hopper.
Mason Chandler.
And a lot of y'all haven't seen Daniel. Daniel's the one that does all of our cool graphics and stuff. All the cool stuff you see on there is what Daniel does. And hey, man, we appreciate it. Yeah. Look, I still feel like I'm on a tractor. I've been at Mr. Bubba's house today, and I literally feel like I'm on the tractor still. And from being at Mr. Bill's house, my sinuses.
Well, that was great yesterday, wasn't it?
Fun. That was fun. Mr. Bill, we love y'all. Y'all are family. Mr. Jeff Fuller's watching.
Hey, Mr. Jeff.
So tonight we're going to get into a little bit of turkey talk, and it's time to start. Food plotting is basically right now, next month, really, but prepping is right now.
Yep.
And we're going to get into some of that. But what we want to do is we want to thank all of our sponsors that help us so much with the show, because without them, Mason's a sponsor. Without these sponsors, we really can't have this show. And just so all the sponsors know and everybody that's watching the show understands is that we don't put any money in our pocket. Everything that we get from sponsorships goes directly back out to help the youth, different organizations that we believe in, to the community, whether it be our community or y'all's community or whoever needs help. That's what we're doing. We're here to promote the outdoors. That's all we're trying to do.
Get kids out there.
Get the youth out there.
Yep.
Get people to fall in love with the outdoors. Get the kids off the games and off the phones. Get them outside.
Get them outside.
Carry them fishing. Carry them, do anything.
When are you gonna take me fishing?
Never. If y'all knowing, we'll go snatch y'all real soon, buddy. But
Right.
Mac, if you want to start, buddy, we'll let you start with the sponsors tonight.
All right. Buster Seed, 318-336-9890, or Google Buster Seed to find your dealer near you. Christy will take great care of you. Wild Seed Solution. Call Mason Chandler at 731-592-4361. Mason is a real world seed dealer. Wildlife Addiction Food Plots. You can call Keith Haywood at 731-780-6426 or call Rodney McBride at 901-603-6601.
All right, Dan, go ahead, buddy.
First one we got Sanders Auto Sales, Greenbrier. Buy there, pay there with no credit check required. Call Mr. Mark Tate, 615-643-3740. Pioneer Outdoor Sports in Bolivar. Call Robert Myers at 731-659-2400. And the last one, Spur Brand. They've been real good to us. More than just a brand. Go to support@spurbrand.com or call 251-747-7242. Check out their hunting and outdoor premium quality apparel and accessories. Talk to Buddy, Sean, and the staff. They're all going to treat you like family.
And if anybody was on Facebook today, I believe it was today, Mr. Buddy and his daughter doubled up today. On
Wow.
birds.
Did not see that.
Awesome.
That's
Great job.
You didn't see it?
I didn't see it.
It's they killed some pretty birds. So
Hey,
congratulations, Amber. Miss Amber's on here. All right, we have the Sheridan Valley Outfitters, trophy whitetail and guided turkey hunts. The all-inclusive whitetail hunts take place in Wayne County, Iowa, in the extremely desired Zone 5, which is very much desired. Beautiful place. I've been there. Don't come here expecting to be treated like a customer. Mr. Marvin and his staff are going to treat you like family. Not only can you expect great hunting, but you can count on clean amenities, home-cooked meals, and an atmosphere accommodating all ages, and I can vouch for that. The place is amazing.
I can't wait to go.
A blast. You'll be there.
We're going to go.
We're going to talk about it.
Okay. As long as we talk about it.
We'll talk
about
it.
You left me out last year.
There was a reason, I'm sure.
You're probably right.
There really was a reason. So.
Exactly.
But
You left
anyway,
it one day early.
I did. Be sure to check them out online, guys. Go to www.SheridanValleyOutfitters.com or call Mr. Scott Morrell directly at 814-574-2410. And if you give them a call and you've watched this show, make sure to let them know that you learned about them from Wildlife Addiction, okay?
That's awesome.
And so, sponsors, thank y'all very much. We really appreciate everything you do. Dad says the sound is excellent tonight. Dad, we got Wi-Fi put in here, so we're hoping that solves all of the issues. I knew that last week we were the last several weeks we've been buffering and sounds been coming in and out, and it's been
struggling.
So finally we decided to put Wi-Fi in the shop versus using one of these boosters or whatever it's called.
Right.
So turkey season's coming up, Mac.
Man, who's not ready?
Man,
Who is not ready?
They
Don't turkey hunt. Hey, thank you for not turkey hunting because that leaves more birds for me to go
right.
chase.
That's right.
That's it.
That's right. And look, we could really call this shop talk tonight. I mean, we're always doing the shop. We got the shop door open, man. The weather's beautiful.
Mhm.
We got 2 whole guests watching us tonight.
Hey.
2 whole people sitting in the house
It's a
tonight.
live studio audience.
Man. Juvenile hunt's going to be next weekend.
Mhm.
The 3 of us are going to end up in
Hardin County.
Hardin County, Savannah area. We're going to be doing a hunt. I'll let you explain it because you know a lot about it.
Well,
That
hunt right there, it's Hunt the Cure. It's April the 5th through the 7th. Like we said, it's a youth hunt. All proceeds, 100% goes to St. Jude. You can go to their website at www.huntthecure.com. It's a first come, first served basis. But I just talked to Jason Elam this afternoon. Hey, they have spots. Hey, get online, and sign up for it. Now, Saturday, they're going to have a live auction at the fairgrounds. I think it starts at 6 o'clock.
I will read off all the information right here.
And
I do have all
and
that.
it doesn't matter if it's cookies, jam, a gun, or whatever. They will auction it off. You know, it's donated. They auction it off.
All proceeds are going to St. Jude.
I mean, what a great cause would that
What
be?
a great cause.
I mean,
and I'm looking forward to it. We're gonna have a blast.
Let's reiterate that though. They still got open. If there's a young person out there wanting to go, let's still reach out. There's still time to get
yes,
involved.
yes.
Yeah.
Mhm. All they have to do is go online and sign up.
Yeah, and if there's a kid on here that's watching, or mom and dad that's watching,
Reach out to us.
reach out to us.
Well,
Yeah,
let's get you
we'll
involved.
make sure that you get in there.
We're sponsoring one already, right?
That's correct. We are sponsoring one. And what I'm gonna do is just real quick. I'm gonna give out the event schedule for the hunt that weekend. So Friday, the Guide Landowner Meet and Greet Luncheon, that will be Friday the 5th at 11 a.m. We'll be there.
Right.
The location is at Mountain View Church of Christ. That's going to be at 24695 Highway 128, Savannah, Tennessee. Registration for hunting participants is Friday, August the 5th from 3 to 5 p.m. Parent guardian must be present. That location is going to be Hardin County Fairgrounds, which is at 665 Clifton Road in Savannah, Tennessee. You're from that area, so you know where all this is.
There's a safety meeting that takes place too in there. Where they have to meet and do a safety brief.
That's next. Wait. Yes, that is next. Okay, the TWRA safety meeting for all participants. That will also be Friday, the 5th at 6 p.m. And it's going to be at the Hardin County Fairgrounds, which is the same address, 665 Clifton Road, Savannah, Tennessee. So it looks like after the registration, that's when they're going to have the TWRA safety meeting. And then for the public information, they're going to have a cornhole tournament Saturday, April the 6th at 11 a.m. And it's open to the public. The location for that is going to be also the Hardin County Fairgrounds, which is 665 Clifton Road, Savannah, Tennessee. And they're going to have a live benefit auction for St. Jude. That's going to be Saturday, April the 6th at 6 p.m. It's open to all the public. So they're encouraging, please, everybody come and join. All monies raised will go to St. Jude. And that's going to be, we're really looking forward to that. We're going to go down there and film.
That's going to be a great time.
We're going to get the film. We're actually going to do the show next Friday night from a fellow named Mr. Mike Maddox down there where we're staying. He's going to be kind enough to let us do the show from his place down there. So we're really looking forward to that. All right, Mac.
Sir.
Real quick. Let's do a little turkey talking. You got some alcohol?
Well, it's right here.
It's right there.
Okay, let's talk about first daybreak.
For new guys.
For new guys. If you don't know where a bird's at, you can go to your woods and things like that. And if you don't know where they're at, you're in the middle of the woods. Hey, I want to strike one up. Okay, I use a hoot owl call. It doesn't sound very well half the time because I've never really, they never really answered to me.
He does sound pretty good.
But turn around, I'll do a hoot owl. But if I get that one that gobbles back at me on a hoot owl or whatever, break a stick or drop something, trip, fall, cuss, or whatever, they holler at me, hey, I'm going to sit down right there, close in that area and just sit down and wait for, I like to hear, like, everybody in the country has roosters around there somewhere. When that rooster starts hollering and the birds start chirping and things like that, the woods are waking up, right? About the third or fourth time that rooster hollers, guess what's going to happen? 9 times out of 10, you're going to hear him holler. Well, I'll answer him, a little bit and let him know I'm here. But if he doesn't say anything to me and it's breaking day, I'm going to do a couple of little yelps and things like that to let her know that, hey, I'm here. I'm not going to overcall, because you don't know what's around you. You may sit right up under him in the same tree. You have no clue. So, the thing about it is, you get a bird hollering, especially if after he's on the ground and things like that. If the bird you call and he answers you back, hey, don't overcall. Don't overcall. Hey, hush. Because the more he gobbles and you don't see him, or he's even in a field, he's out there gobbling. Oh, it looks good. I made him gobble.
He knows where you are.
Yeah, he knows where you're at. But guess what? That hen, he's by himself. That hen doesn't know where he's at. But every time he gobbles, guess what? he's letting everybody, even poachers or people hunting around you, know, hey, he's in that field, or he's over there. So guess what's happened? They're going to go to him. You don't want that to happen. You want him to come to you. You know,
You're trying to reverse what they naturally do. That's what you're trying to do.
I mean, you're like right now, if the season was open, I would want to call the hen in, because where's he going? He's going to be 40, 50, 60 yards away from her, just doing this thing and things like that. But if she comes in, I'm not going to say you're going to kill the bird or not, but it gives you a opportunity for, hey, you call her in, he's coming.
What about early season right now? If you're messing with decoys, you're going to put a hen out there, or you're going to put the big tom out there?
Yeah, I'm going to put both.
Okay.
I'm going to put both. I mean, because as the season goes long,
Right.
and things like that, hey, they haven't seen that bird, you know, but I'm not going to put him, like if I kill one today in my decoys, I'm not going to use those tomorrow. I may go in the same little area, things like that, and sit with nothing, turn around, then call. I mean, and try not to do the same calling I did the day before, because, hey, I heard that yesterday and my cousin's gone, you know. So that's what I do. I mean,
we actually have a couple new decoys. We were hoping to be here today.
I know I was going to put them right there.
I know, right? I know. But we have a hen and a jake is what we have coming.
Look nice.
So get your call if you don't mind.
Oh, man.
I know I'm putting you on the spot, buddy. I know I am. Is the sound still doing okay? Has anybody got us up? So early morning.
Early morning, I call it a tree call.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let me just take my mouth dry. But I do a tree call, like he's hollering on the limb and things like that.
You just want him to know you're there.
I'm here. And that's loud in the woods.
Mm-hmm.
That's really loud in the woods. I mean, especially if there's no wind, right? I want him to know, all right, look, I'm stretching.
Right.
You know, he's stretching on that limb, you know, things like that, right? Well, if he gobbles at me, I'm going to let him sit there a little while. It depends on how daylight it is. I mean, how far we are.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if it's real late, I'm going to give a couple purrs and clucks, you know, like, right? If he hollers, I might answer him back with a little yelp, yelp, yelp. Shut up. What's he going to do after that? I want him to come looking for me. So I'm not going to sit there, heck yeah, he gobbled. Next thing you know, and he goes the other way and he's 450 yards instead of 150, you know, because he got henned up.
Right.
I mean, so.
Now, when you go set up somewhere new, do you prefer being on the high side somewhere, the low side? Do you get them to come uphill, allow you to get them to downhill, or what?
Boy, he make a jumper. He make him fly across the river.
No, I can't. No. To be honest with you, hillbirds and flatbird land, they're totally different. Hillbirds are a lot harder. So me personally, I've only had a lot of experience on flat ground. So now the hillbirds, like when we go to Mr. Bill's place,
Mm-hmm.
right? We have food plots out there with nothing to eat. So we're gonna go on the high side. All right. I'm hungry in the morning. Guess what? They are too. So where they gonna go?
Nothing to eat out there.
Yeah. I
We
mean,
have food out there.
yeah, we have food for them. Chicory, clover.
Mm-hmm.
So where are they gonna go? They're gonna go to the buffet. So I'm gonna sit in the buffet and sit on the side. Say, hey, come see me. And Keith's gonna shoot him.
I'm gonna call him. Now I'm not shooting. Y'all gonna shoot. I'm gonna film. I killed last year. Y'all's turn. We had John at the bat first.
John, hey, brother, you better not miss now.
He said he's probably gonna kill one before we get there.
That's what he said.
Yeah. So
I mean,
if he does, I don't know what we're gonna do about that.
We're still gonna let him shoot first.
Shoot first. Mr. Bill, we want to thank the Ramsey family for being so good to us. They have become family. And we went up there yesterday, wasn't it? Didn't we go yesterday?
Yesterday.
Went up there and you know, the food plots, a lot of the winter rye and all that stuff's growing up tall. So we went and clipped all that to really expose all the clover and chicory. And he was showing us, man, where there was just bird sign everywhere. Pictures.
I mean,
golly, Bill, we were looking at pictures. And this one right here was foaming at the mouth. He's ready to go.
Yes.
So, but what we want to talk about tonight is if are we good on? We could keep talking. We could talk turkey all night long.
And by far, everybody hunts different. Everybody calls different. But that's what has made me successful of the birds I have harvested. And I've called in more birds than I've shot.
And at the end of the day, people are buying hunting license. They're getting outside. That's all that matters.
That's all that
Exactly right.
matters. And we all had to learn. And that's exactly what the next subject is going to be about. It's about teaching food plot. Everybody now, it's just that time of year. I'm getting a lot of phone calls. Mason's getting seed coming for me. Mason's worried about, food plots. You've been doing some farm consulting, and it's just that time of year. And in my opinion, you could probably go to 10 different food plot guys or 10 different consultants, and you may get 10 different answers. But I am simply going, I am not a farmer by trait. I do not have a degree in like you do in soil conservation or anything like that. I learned by making a lot of mistakes. But the biggest thing I did was I kept pushing through. I've watched tons of videos, I've read lots of stuff, and I listen to podcasts, and even then, I'm still listening to what somebody else has to say, and I would try their techniques, and sometimes I would pass, sometimes I would fail. Yeah. Sometimes the plots would go great, and the deer just didn't like them, and I was like, man, why is this? That plot looks so pretty out there. What is going on out here? And
at the end of the year, you're supposed to look at the decaying salad bar.
absolutely, and yeah, no doubt, it depends on what you have out there.
That's like turkey calling.
Mm-hmm.
If that bird's hollering, calling you, answering you back and things like that, and you try something different, and he goes south on you, you're probably not going to do that again. Just like food plots and things like that.
Right.
But you wouldn't learn it unless
you try it.
That's right. That's exactly right. And Mac, you're with me on pretty much every food plot we do.
Just about.
You have seen over the last few years, for those that don't know, and for those that didn't watch several months or so ago, how I got started food plotting. And I'll go back through that again.
That little weed eater and tiller and
things like that. I had my son, which is 22 now, was 5
Did you poke holes in the can and shake it back then when you didn't have a cedar?
I actually did have a cedar.
No, I'm talking about the Folger coffee can now.
I'm not that old.
Yeah, I bet you did. You didn't want to get off that money.
Right. Never mind. He got it. It was out of bag.
Hey, Daniel, last year he said, Mac, it won't take us too long. It's just a small, 2-acre field. We'll hand do it, right? Yeah. I said, hand do it. You can look at my weight, look at his weight, and look at that field. So where's the 4-wheeler?
I thought you was going to tell me that's where the coffee can came from. He dug it up out of the ground.
He probably did.
Yeah, I am a little tight.
He didn't want to dull his knife and put the damn holes in it because it was rusted. So
it is pretty bad. My wife got a big smile out of that because she knows the same. She knows the same thing. But over the years, so how I got started was Brent, my son, was 5, and juvenile hunt was on the way, and about a month out, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to go out here. It was more than a 1/4 acre, but probably not quite half an acre. And I had a Poland weed eater with a tiller head on it. I worked and I worked and I worked. It was 100 degrees outside, and I worked my rear end off on that thing. Didn't really have a clue what I was doing. I was growing buck forage oats, and man, I worked and worked and worked, and I spread fertilized, and I spread the seed, and I run over it with the forward. Didn't drag anything, just kind of rode it forward or walked on it, whatever I could do. Man, 3 days later, we got a rain. That stuff started growing, and he ended up killing his first and second deer off that food plot, and I was absolutely hooked. But I thought,
now
Lord have mercy.
A while ago, you said you're not a farmer. Now you are a farmer.
How am I going to
he has a tractor now.
You know how it is. Life goes on. You marry a sweet woman, and she lets you buy things like that.
He puts me out there.
See there, guys.
Y'all know the
turkey season's coming. Y'all heard it. Says sweet wife. Got him.
Y'all ever heard of a hula hoop? That little thing on the bottom, and it's on a stick. That's what he gives me. Matt, make these rows. And I'm out there doing this while he waves me in a tractor.
You do the clover with that manual lawnmower.
I'm gonna be honest. Since he's gonna get on, since it's gonna be the Haywood show here. Buzz here sits under the shade tree, touching that mirror buds, and I see that mouth. And then he'll call me. I'm like, dude, I'm right here. He want to talk. I'm riding like 10 foot past him. I just wave at him. He's talking to me.
Yeah, you're making fun of me. You're getting burnt. I'm here jamming this air conditioning.
Speaking of getting burnt, Your face is red and your legs are solid white. Did you lay out in blue jeans today?
Who told you?
Boy.
Hey, and I want my long sleeve.
Mr. Bill, I know you're laughing right now.
I mean, it's not that hard, is it?
You're pretty red.
It's Robin.
It is pretty red, but
It's Robin.
that was probably Mr. Bill's house the other day.
No, it was at my daddy's house.
His daddy's house. You had to do some work out there today. I've been with Mr. Bubba Spencer today. We've been spraying a whole lot. But anyway, we're going to continue on with this food plot business. So we'll sit here and make fun of each other all night. But that's what we're here for. We're here to have fun. We're here for y'all to have fun. So I learned simply by making a whole lot of mistakes and just started researching. And then, like I said earlier, I ran into growing some plots that looked really pretty. And I was like, man, that eye test thing, my gosh, these things are going to look amazing. And they looked amazing. I was like, where are the deer? You know, I had cameras on them and nothing was going on. One here, one there. So then I started studying seed varieties. Started growing lots of test plots. And you let me grow test plots on you. We grow test plots. We have food plots in Mississippi, all parts of Tennessee, Middle Tennessee. We're going to Iowa to do food plots this year. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Yep.
Mr. Marr going to Kentucky. So we do a lot of food plots, and my favorite thing is diversity. I still like diversity, and I do have some cheat sheets here, so y'all forgive me.
When we first started, though, you didn't calculate in the weather and what the weather's doing to these plots and what these deer love in Iowa versus what they love here.
That's right.
They don't get cold enough here.
That's right. Kick it off. And that's coming. That's exactly right. I mean, there's things that deer will not touch here that they will devour up there, and that's the old word brassica. And
it passes the eye test. 100%.
It does. 100%.
I remember the first time I grew one, I was like, it's over now.
Oh yeah, I mean that stuff grows, knee high, and it's just, it's tons of food out there for them to eat. The tonnage is unreal, and you're like, where's the deer, man?
I mean, last year we were covered up in food plots.
Yeah, we had every weekend.
Okay, but guess what? The year before, we couldn't put food plots out because we had too much rain.
Yeah.
Now, last year, we put food plots left and right, and then they didn't come up. Well, we would, how big was that tanker that we had
a 1,600 gallon water tank.
And we wouldn't, and
I don't know.
I thought of the firemen.
And I had it for 3 weeks. And I don't know. But see, this was only for our personal plots.
Right.
And unfortunately, I couldn't travel to everybody else's plots and do that for them. But we watered and we watered and we watered. And I mean, we ended up having some jam up plots.
We did.
But, even water them like that, it's a great thing. But Mother Nature, that rain, that's when that's when it happens.
That's when it really starts.
So, and we'll just kind of start off. I'm just going to start off talking about soil temperatures. That's something you might could get into with me. And we're just going to work our way down. So for me, soil temperature planning, you don't want to be in a major hurry. A lot of people, these warm days, boy, they're chomping at the bit to get out there. But that optimal soil temperature usually is somewhere between 68 and 80 degrees. Is that
60s when it hits?
It's 60
when most everything starts coming up.
Right. Yeah. See, I always kind of wait. Maybe I'm waiting too late then. But
I mean, if you got I've got a lot of people that, some people say you need to wait to put it in the ground. There's certain things where you can plant in February.
That's right.
And let it sit there.
That's right.
And
that's right.
Native grasses are just one of those. Clover, chicory. I don't know how frost seeding brassicas. I don't know about that. I don't know.
I have never even studied frost seeding brassicas. The only thing we ever frost seed at all is just clover. Yeah. That's it. That's the only thing that we frost seed.
And it works great.
But when you, coming from your background, how deep do you measure to get your soil temperature? How far do you try to go down? 3 inches?
I don't know.
Or do you base a lot of it on dormant temperature outside? If it's 80 degrees outside, your soil temperature is going to be
more like that. Yeah. I don't see people measuring the temperature in the ground. Really, you do.
3 inches.
Really? Yeah. See, I've never seen that. It's just based off of Well, a lot of people just look at the weather. I mean,
Yeah, a lot of
most
people do.
most people.
But at the
you
end of
get
the
more
day,
precise. Yeah.
Most of the people that do food plots are and like me, look, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm a pro by any means, but I have a lot of equipment that I have gotten over the years. It's taken me some time to get. But most people are your weekend warriors. They're their dads and moms out there that's just trying to do a little something to make their hunting, their experience out there a little better, get more critters close to them. At the end of the day, that's what they want to do.
Yeah.
And you can do some really good food plots with a 4-wheeler and with some homemade drags but it all depends on what size seed. You have to look at seed sizes then.
That's like Jimmy McGee. That was
Yeah.
one of my first food plots I ever.
That's right.
That was out in
Shelby
Shelby
County,
Forest.
right beside Shelby Forest.
I mean,
Jimmy
he was-
watching?
Yeah, he's watching. That's why I'm bringing it up.
Mm-hmm.
He said, I need to get some deer in here, this and that or whatever. I think it was Buckbuster we put in
We
there.
put Buckbuster when we went in there fall
Right.
mix. Mm-hmm.
He killed his first buck on that property, or first buck of his life that year.
Yeah.
And he called Keith up and said, "Hey, I got me a buck."
Yeah.
So
Yeah, he's a great guy too.
I'll tell you, I had 3 different brands growing, and that's the only one that survived the drought this year. So that's why I'm a big fan of them.
Yeah.
right.
And we had it sit. We had some sit. Well, this year we were lucky enough to be able to water a lot of it, but we've had some sit for 6, 7, almost 2 months dormant before it got a rain. Now you'll get those early morning dews, and that'll get some of your smaller seeds up top to start sprouting. But you really, it sat there dormant that long before it got a rain.
We should have put some of those pictures of the Mr. Bill's place
I know.
on here
I know.
tonight. I mean, because we went up there and, like you said, and clipped it. I mean, because you want the chicory and the clover, you want them birds to work it. I mean, it was that high.
This stuff is
You know-
it was on that high. We use this more.
Oh, so, I got bad vision.
Yeah. Okay.
I thought it was that high.
Okay.
It was like this, but
It was.
That's gonna bring those birds in, 'cause those birds don't like the tall grass.
They don't.
If they
don't.
can't see
But
predators
what's
around
funny-
them, they don't want it.
no,
4 miles or so before we got to the farm, there was 3 toms and 4 or 5 hens out there.
they wrecked the truck.
They were in a wheat field.
They
And
were.
they literally were 10 yards off the road.
Gobbling.
Boom, they were just caught, and all you could see was like they're up, man. They were strutting, and it shocked me to see them in that wheat field, that winter wheat
I
field.
mean, I've never seen one right by the road.
Yeah, but it
Like that.
was that early in the morning. Everything was still soaking wet.
Hey,
I
Chase.
was shocked over there.
I mean,
When you go knock on the door for permission, don't take mine.
why do you always pick on me, Mason? Thank you for not picking on me. I mean, because it's 3 against 1.
Yeah, look,
Two against 1.
we were up there working on that place, Mr. Bill's over yesterday, and I was out there clipping on the lawnmower, and because it was easier just to carry my dad's big John Deere mower out there. Them 2 riding around waving at me. Then they disappeared. I'm like, all right, I don't need anything. These cats are gone on me. But we love Mr. Bill. We love that family. Golly, Bill.
It'll change this year. Then maybe you on that tractor when you get the air, you might invite me in
Oh,
there.
I had to.
Open the door, let you feel it every
Yeah, I mean,
I open the side window. I don't even open the door when I need something.
When you open up that side window, he takes a drag of a cigarette.
Hey, last July, my brother asked me that. Can you not get too hot in that tractor? We got sweat pouring off of us out there. And I was like, no, he's supposed to put a sweatshirt on, I'm sure.
Windows were fogging up. They were frosting up. But we're going to, all right, let's talk about and Mason, I know this is going to be going for you, just preparing soil. So for me, on the scale that I look at, I'm more worried about where the pH is in general.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at something, you look at a smorgasbord of different soil tests.
Yep.
But like you and I spoke before, if anybody thinks that they're going to get their soil at a perfect 7.0, they are dreaming. They are dreaming.
Closest you're probably going to get is a 6.8.
Yeah, about a 6.8, and that's if you're doing good.
Yeah.
So that's something else that I look at when I'm looking at, and we're talking warm season planting here, spring and summer planting, our food plots for that time of year. Sorry guys, we have grandkids running around. This is a family-oriented show, obviously.
And Pick on Mac show.
And Pick on Mac show. So I'm worried more about my pH. And And last year, of course, I ran test plots and personal plots on several different farms. But here at the house, I'm blessed enough to have enough land that I can run some test plots out here. And all my test plots were split into threes. They were so many feet long, and I just break them into thirds.
Mhm.
So that's where I started testing ag lime, pelletized lime, and this stuff right here, Plot Start. If anybody can see it, it's a calcium base.
Straight liquid.
It's straight liquid calcium.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, I put some out in a pasture today. We put 55 gallons of it out today, and it mixes with, we put herbicide stuff out too.
Yeah.
And so, and my goal for all this, for my study, was number one, to see what made the healthiest plant.
Right.
See what grew, see what stages they grew in, because I go out and measure. I did this, I used to scout cotton, almost did it like I was scouting cotton. I'd get a stand count, I'd get height, I'd get a lot of stuff. But I'd also recheck that pH in those three spots often.
Yep.
This right here, instant, like the next day, my pH had jumped, from a 5, it jumped to full. I guess I'm gonna call it a point.
Yep.
It jumped to full point overnight, over one day.
Yep.
Where the other stuff took, well, one never did really jump. The ag line did, of course, better than the pelletized line. The pelletized line is generally like about 100 to 115 days before you really start seeing that change.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I really started studying about this. And it's instant. And when I say instant, it's pretty much overnight. You can do it before you plant. You can break up your ground and do it right before you, and you can actually do it over top of it when you've planted and cultivated, if that's how you do it.
Mm-hmm.
You can do any way you want to, and it lasts for several years.
And Mason is a vendor for
Mason is a vendor for
Yes.
this. Yes, he's a vendor for this product. And I wish I could put it up here somewhere and show everybody again. But this is the one they call Plot Start. It's made by Deer Grove. So y'all need to go check them out online. And look, we get nothing. Mason, he sells this stuff. I mean, that's part of some of the work he does.
Yeah.
But they do not do anything for me. I'm promoting. I'm trying to make it easier for everybody else to grow plots, from my experience. And go ahead.
That's pretty interesting on that, because I've always that it instantly boosts your soil pH, because of course what pH does, it allows your plant to absorb the nutrients that's in your soil,
and it helps you fertilize, which we're going to get into.
Yes.
Do its job.
Yeah, that's
we'll
right.
get into that.
If it gets too low, it literally locks the soil up.
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
that right there, I've just heard that that isn't, like you said, it's an instant thing.
Mm-hmm.
But people have always told me that from now, not their studies, but the ag lime is still, like, you still can't replace ag lime.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to do some further testing on that to see if it lasts year after year. Because if it does,
mm-hmm.
that's way easier than the ag lime. Because ag lime is a very slow releasing product.
Very slow.
Like a whole 6 months.
Yes.
It's very slow.
So this is a 2.5 gallon jug. It does 1 acre,
mm-hmm.
and it's equivalent to a ton of lime. Wow. Is what that's equivalent to, 1 ton of lime. So if you get a case of it, I looked it up online today. It was $90.
5 gallons. Yeah.
That was 5 gallons, and that does 2 acres. So, and that's 2 tons.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now price pelletized lime in 40-pound bags for $625.
That's a game changer for small track.
No doubt. No doubt.
You don't have to worry about trying to get the wagon in there, worry about getting bigger equipment in, because a lot of our food plots are half acre. They're so small.
We're micro plotting.
Yeah.
Most everything we do. I have a couple 4-acre plots, but are you smile? What is?
Exactly
Make sure you only put it with either by itself or Roundup.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you put it with the plot boost,
that's right.
You'll kill everything you got.
That's right.
Don't ask me how to know that.
That was coming up. But you can. So for me, I'm able to go in there. I'm able to add my glyphosate. Makazi is what I use, and
Yeah.
I use that because it has a built-in surfactant in it. I'm able to mix that and my Makazi together in a tank, and I'm spraying and liming at the same time.
Yes.
Not only can you do that, and not only is it for new plots, but if you have an existing plot, like right now, if you have a good clover stand, chicory stand, spray right over top of it, and it's a game changer.
And that's why you cut ours back a little bit. That's what you're fixing to put on ours.
That's it.
And make that stuff. What's it do? What'd you say it made it do on the stuff? It makes the chicory and the clover jump up. What's it gonna do the other stuff to cut it back?
Well, now on and I'm fixing to get into that part too on seedlings. Okay,
because you're doing that for a purpose.
I'm doing this for a purpose. This is for me to get my dirt where it will take the fertilizer that I'm putting in the ground and make the plant. It makes the ground more fertile for the plant to absorb. It's a healthy diet for the ground, and it's a healthy diet for your plants.
That's not the thing you're going to put now. Okay,
no,
that's coming
that's
up.
Coming up.
Okay,
that's coming up.
Right.
So go ahead, Mike.
I mean, I'm learning food plots as well.
Right.
You know,
Mason, this stuff for using this stuff right here. If somebody's going to say, "Hey, I want to do my first food plot this year. I'm putting it in a spot. You know, I've got a small spot." If is that still okay before you ever put a seed in the ground? Never had a food plot before, still use that stuff, or still go the traditional way and get that base on the ground to start?
Here's where you might hear two different answers, but I bet you're going to hear the same answer.
What's yours? What's yours?
I think
I'm going to let him go.
number one, you need to do a soil
You
test.
do your soil sample, exactly.
Based off of what Keith just said, I'm sticking with this.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I'm still, because I'm in the ag industry, I'm still leaning towards that long term of the ag line.
And that's what all the studies that I've read, Mason, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good.
But everybody, all the big farmers are saying, I just can't make my head wrap around using 2.5 gallons of a liquid to give me a ton of lime.
Yep.
But if they would just simply take a 10-acre section of their farm, maybe a 10-acre section of their farm that they've struggled with a little bit over the last few years, and just run it. Take the time to run it, because I'm gonna tell you, it was a game changer out in this yard out here, a game changer. So as far as I'm concerned, I don't care if I ever buy another bag of pelletized lime ever, unless I have to.
And that works on everything.
Yeah, everything.
Everything.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you can put it in your garden.
Garden,
You can
anywhere.
put it anywhere you want to.
Definitely use it on your back.
No doubt.
Hauling this 50-pound bag around.
Hey, thank you.
So
I'm not gonna be me this year.
that's right.
But
That's right.
with you saying that it did that like in an instant, because that's one part of it I've not seen the research on.
Mhm.
I don't think anybody's done research like that on it.
This year, I will pull soil samples about every 2 weeks for you.
I want to see that. Yeah.
I'll pull soil samples about every 2 weeks or so, and you can watch it, and you'll watch how it's going to stay. Now, I didn't pull them that often, but I did pull probably 5 times throughout the growing season, and even after they matured, my beans out here, still right there.
And like,
It's
I mean, there's
still
no
staying
doubt
right
that it
there.
does. It's instant. Like,
Mhm.
I mean, those studies are there,
Yeah,
but it's the fact of the long term. It's what I'm. It's what I'm looking at.
and right now, I could probably walk right out here and pull a soil sample and see where it stands, because I know what it was last year in that test spot. And
That's
I'll make
crazy.
sure that happens next week for you. I'll
That's
get
crazy.
that done.
I want to see some.
I had a really
because
cool-
you could put-
I had a really cool tester that Bluetooth to my phone that gives me all the readouts above pH.
Yeah.
It was supposed to have been here, then now it's on back order. So I've actually got some Daniel stuff over here that I'm gonna carry to our local place. I'm gonna carry them half of it actually, and I'm gonna
See if
keep.
it matches up.
I'm gonna try to match up. So with that being said, we're gonna kind of move on, because we're getting through this. So now let's talk about seed selection for your warm season seed selection. What I found that the deer really love to eat, I'll let the deer tell me. And I'm going to give you, and this is for warm season stuff. We're not going to worry about so much about the fall mixes until later on in the summer when it's time for that. But I do everything in my warm mixes that leads me up to my fall, because a lot of them stay, because I like to feed 365. So my favorite is still, if you have the acreage to do it, is the real world beans right there, the forage bean. Because my summer plot, I want my summer plot 100% to be a protein based feed for my deer. It's my does are either dropping or they're dropping fawns and they're lactating. The herd health is a lot better. My bucks are growing. We're averaging some much bigger deer because of that protein. And I know you've grown some too, but you've grown some on a smaller scale, and they devoured them. So that bag is 50 pounds. It calls for 1 acre. I do 75 pounds an acre because I want to have a little more browse.
So your 2 bags are
100. I'll do about 75 to 80 pounds an acre. But I run a buffer.
Right.
So what I do is I'm gonna walk you through what I personally like for summer seeds, and then I'll tell you what I plant, and I'm gonna plant because I like my beans to be about 40 yards off. I want the deer to have to work through a plot to get to the beans. Does that make sense?
Just stop right there for a second. What is your ideal size though? What is, like, small tract people like me, what is too small? Hey, we can't mess with beans. They'll eat you out. It'll be a waste of money for you pretty much.
An acre.
So it's got to be at least an acre or more.
Yeah, they'll tear it up.
Okay.
I mean, this stuff is so attractive that even 2 acres is pushing it. You can go to my field right now. I did a walkthrough the other day, and there is not a bean. What very few pods actually stuck and the deer didn't pull off.
Right.
There's no beans in them.
The guys gone.
Demolished. I mean, they're amazing. So, and I'll lead into what that's for in a minute too. But my number one, if I'm going to grow anything and I have the ground to do it, I'm going to grow real world beans. There's other companies that make forage beans, but some of them make them that they grow 6-7 feet tall.
Right.
I don't want my beans to get that tall. I want them to look like a normal bean stand out there. The difference between these beans and a harvest bean that farmers plant, it has about half the protein that does. It's still not a bad gig for having beans on your farm. And as they dry, the pods loosen up so that when they run a combine through, their yield's high. They're able to get all their beans. Where these pods stay together, and we went from having a real heavy protein plot to a very high fat content. Well, really carbohydrates. You can have too much fat, but carbohydrate, the energy is what those things turn into. They actually have more energy than corn. I can put corn beside those, and I promise you, I will have 10 deer to every one in beans versus corn.
And the snow this year proved that when temperatures really dropped.
Sure did.
Absolutely.
They stomped them to death almost.
Yeah, absolutely. Lights out. So, and I say all the time, and I've said this before, corn is a great thing. Too much corn will hurt a deer. It's bad for their stomach. But if I would rather grow corn, in a sense, for my turkey. I'd rather grow corn for them.
Or screen.
Or screen, a buffer area, good place for them to walk through. So forage beans, cow peas are really good. But cow peas, you'll see them in a lot of blends. It takes 100 pounds of cow peas per acre. So when you see a blend with 5 pounds of cow peas in it,
you're not getting many cow peas.
You're getting a filler. You're getting a filler to add weight to that. So be aware of that when you go to Walmart or Tractor Supply and you look at these bags and what they have in them. And we're going to get a little bit more into that. Clover, chicory, sugar beets. Everybody sees the word sugar beet and they think it's a brassica, but it's not. It's not a brassica family. And it contains really good protein in the leaves. And I can firsthand show you all the footage you want of them absolutely tearing them up out of the ground. And pulling them up, and there'll be a bulb and just leaves, lots of tonnage. And I love them, and you can grow them in the summer. And they are somewhat shade tolerant, okay? The only thing that I haven't to them in the shade is the bulbs may not get as big. But you still have some pretty good tonnage in your leaves. And that gives them something to help your clover. The mix that we're going to do this year, it'll give them some tonnage to stay off of some of your smaller stuff as it matures. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then I have corn on here. Okay. So when you do beans, I do 75 pounds per acres. And I wrote all this down. I just don't want to be tripping over myself trying to tell you. Cowpeas, 100 per acre. Now with cowpeas, if you decide you want to do cowpeas, then it's a good time to add some corn in that. And here's why. The stems on cowpeas are weak. So they're kind of like a veg in a way. And if you'll mix some corn in that plot, they'll grow up those corn stalks and you have a 1-2 punch. You still have your corn there that's going to do good in the winter, but you have those cowpeas that deer absolutely love.
Now, when you drill, can your drill handle both of those seeds at the same time and still?
It can. So those seeds, and that's a very valid point you brought up, because a lot of times when you start looking at your bags at your local store, your seedlings, and they've got a mixture of 7 seeds in them, and 4 of those seeds are 6, 7, 8 times bigger than your clover.
Yeah.
You put those in a drill, or you put those in a. So what's going to happen? You have to open it up wide enough for your peas to come out. Your clover just dumps. Anything that's small just dumps. So
like CTs.
Yeah, and so when you look at a bag like that, the first thing I see is it's a filler. You know, when you have a bag that consists of, you know, if it's 7 different blends or 7 different seeds in there, and you're trying to get an acre out of it, and Mason, you'll definitely vouch for this. They're putting a lot of weight in there, so beware of stuff like that. Beware of anything that's a ryegrass, the throw and grow.
Oh yeah.
The throw and grow, man, you can go out there and throw that stuff on a logging road, and man, it'll look like a pretty carpet down through there. And
there's
my wife's laughing at me for some reason. What'd I say wrong? Never mind. She got me. She got me. But anyway.
Well, there's a place for that though, because those people that start out using that throw and grow end up right where we're setting at with, you know, you got equipment all over your farm and you just want to go bigger.
That's right. That's right. That's right. And they'll sit there and they'll watch this pretty little green plot going through this down this logging road or in these real shady areas. But the deer don't like ryegrass, but it'll grow on this shop floor. You know, if you ever have a bag, well, especially if you ever have one of them old bags that has any of that in it, and it spills in the back of your truck.
It'll go in the back of your
Yeah,
truck.
a month later, you see that green about that tall back of your truck. What else I got for you here? So, clover, if you're going to run it by itself, about 10 pounds, 10, 12 pounds to the acre. If you run chicory, you're going to run in a mix about 5 pounds. I'm sorry, 6 pounds to the acre. Well, you can actually do chicory because it's a little bigger seed. You can run 6, 7 pounds for a full acre on that, really. But chicory is just one of those seeds that's good to mix together. So, in sugar beets, you want to run about 10 pounds of those to an acre unless you put it in a mix, and you want about half that. And that's just some of the summer stuff we're talking about. But I'm talking about summer stuff that will carry all the way over into winter. You start looking at buckwheat, you start looking at some of those things, they're great for the summer.
90 days. 60 to 90 days.
They're dead. You know, they're gonna, as soon as it gets cold, they're gone. So there that goes. So the seed that we've come up with, we're doing a ladino clover, we're doing a durana clover, we're doing chicory, and we're doing sugar beets. And that's what's going to run in my test plots and in my plots and several other plots. But I'm going to run that 40-yard buffer before you get to my beans to help give them some browse.
Like that. I think of course, your sugar beets and your chicory will come back, but it's not as well as the clover.
It's
the sugar beets are an annual, so they're going to be in there once. But the clover, I mean, both of those are perennial clovers.
Yes, that's right.
You take care of them. I mean,
but
the frost seed, the chicory as well. Will it come back?
Absolutely, you can. But the beauty to that mix is when we start trying to maintain weeds. Yeah. Everything that we just talked about in that mix, you can use imoxone, which takes care of broadleaves, or you can use clefone, which takes care of grasses. You can mix them together. spray it, walk away. Your food plot's fine. You can't do that to many food plots.
No.
You can't, or they're going to, or half what you have in there is going to die.
Yeah.
And I'll just ramble on. I'm just trying to get everybody fired up about this food plot
You're
stuff.
doing a buffer too around your beans for the whole field.
You can spray the whole field with that. That's exactly right. You can spray your beans with it. So, and what you don't want to plant for warm season stuff, because they're not warm season plants at all, are brassicas. When I say brassica, we're talking about, turnips, radishes, rape, kale, canola. That's brassicas, and they're all cool season plants. But I'm gonna tell you, I've grown them all. And look, Buckbusters, their premium blend has some in there. Now, I'm not saying they won't eat the leaves. They're going to eat that. But once it gets super cold and those starches leave that leaf and they go down in that bulb, I read articles on that too, guys, and it was saying, okay, give your deer 3 to 4 seasons on it, because it's like us growing up. When we're little, our mama fed us. We didn't like to try new things. So the concept there was, okay, give it 3 or 4 years, let the deer kind of try it, and they'll kind of, is that a word?
Yeah.
Okay. That's a good word. I used a big word, baby, generationally. The theory, that was a big word to y'all, it wasn't me. So the theory is they will adapt to it.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
It has to be cold for multiple days at a time. Very cold.
Mm-hmm.
Like snow on the ground. That's the only time I've ever seen them actually dig. Now they'll hoof them out of the ground. I mean, they'll dig.
They did that last year.
They will, but it takes that cold.
And the
beans. Look out. The beans are going to. The beans, they were just, I mean, when it snowed, I've been looking at
They did some of my Buckbuster.
Well, they did do that, didn't they, on that side? You're right.
I didn't mean to cut you off.
No,
I mean, if we have a mild winter, like that's why I don't like turnips. I mean,
Right.
I'll flat out tell you, I do not like turnips.
That's right. So and Buckbuster makes, and look, they make, I'm telling you, I planted a test plot in Mercer. I planted a test plot in Mercer, and I had 5 blends out there. I believe it was 5 or 6. Well, I put the Buckbuster way back up on the hillside.
It's in Gibson County.
About 150 yards.
From here.
Because I knew he couldn't make that shot.
And he did it probably on purpose. Hey, Matt, come on.
But I had different company, and I'm not going to mention any company's names. And yeah, Buckbusters is one of our sponsors. But I'm telling you, I have been growing it for several years, and I can't find anything in a fall blend to touch it.
No.
Can't.
Mm-hmm.
We grew different blends on your stuff.
We grew stuff side by side, saw deer 5 to 1 and 10 to 1.
Mm-hmm.
Saw deer willing to stand 10 yards away from a deer box that had been there 25 years versus standing 75 yards out into the other stuff.
Yeah. And when we do it, we make that about as unfairable for the deer as we can. And at first, when we started doing it, we would try to make all of our plots where they were fairly fair. Woods on both sides, the deer come out. And we kept noticing they kept going to it. They just kept going to it.
Yep.
Well, then we started scooting it farther away. They kept going to it. And now we'll have it out here by itself. 2 acres over here, and we'll have 4 acres of everything else over here. And I'm not saying they won't take a bite or two, but their mission is for that Buckbuster blend. So I'm just trying to get everybody through my experience and what we've done and what you've seen and what you see too, because I know you run different blends too. You've done some stuff.
I've just seen a lot of different. I see a lot of different because of the people that I deal with.
Mm-hmm. You hear kind of like us talking. Yeah.
I've got one of mine. I mean, he's tried. I don't know how many different blends.
Right.
Like, and most of the time the people that come to me are the ones that have tried. They've been doing food plots for a long time,
mm-hmm.
and they're like, okay, we're kind of like exactly what I did. I was like, all right, I'm done. I'm gonna use something good.
Yeah,
and it happened.
Yeah,
and that's what a majority of my people are.
And I'm not saying that there's not some blends out there that are good blends. I mean, I'm not sitting here knocking the whole seed company.
There's so many.
There's so many blends.
So many.
So make sure you look for coated seed because that's going to add weight. You know, when you go pick up that bag, I don't care whose face is on front of it. I don't care whose name is on front of it. Flip it around to where the important part is, the writing. We want to know germination rate. You know, we're 97, 98% on this. Same on this. Very high germination rate. We want to know what's in it. We want to know what different size seeds are in there and the percentage of them. And then you need to understand what those seeds, how many of them it actually takes to make that particular seed where they won't just go in there. If you need 100 pounds of cowpeas to make an acre and you put 7 pounds of it in there, they love them, but they're going to be gone.
Right.
They're just going to eat them up and they're gone.
Another thing on that is look at your seeds per square foot, because, or seeds per pound. And then you look at, you want about, when I did all the calculation on that mix we made, we've got about 35 seeds per square foot other than the sugar beets. And it's about one and a quarter.
That's right.
Because we want them huge.
That's right.
But I mean, whenever you do all that, I don't know, if you're doing stuff like that, I don't know. I've never seen a blend like the one we come up with.
That's right.
If you look at all these new small food plot, these small food plot, micro plot people, if you look at them, and I'm not going to say names, but if you compare, now I will say, except for Buckbuster, I've not seen one with that. We kind of have. We have one that's kind of like it. But if you look, that dozen mix with a dozen different things, you don't see that much.
You don't see it all.
There's a lot of there's a copycat of the Upland Game mix that we make. There's a copycat of obviously the Harvest Salad, because it's got the 3 grains, clover and the sweet peas. And then your plot topper is all the brassicas together.
That's
you
right.
just mix them to make a mix like Buckbuster.
That's right.
But there's a little bit of a tweak to them.
Yeah.
On the two.
Yeah.
But all these small companies, they're copycats.
They're copycat.
And the seed is not like my seed comes from Kitchen out. I don't know exactly. I think they're out in Oklahoma, maybe. I don't know. But it's Kitchen Seed Company. Especially I know that's where the beans come from and the corn. The other stuff may be sourced, might be a actual real world blend.
Right.
I know our switchgrass is 100% a real world blend, and there's been studies and studies on that. There's Cave Rock, Alamo, Blackwell, and the main 4 in real world. Real world's not really well known, honestly. If
You would
really
think
be
it
honest.
was though, with Mr. Don and all that.
If you like, he's doing tests on all 4. Real world is not it's not like Alamo. It's not real tall. Blackwell is the one that most CRP blends use. It's kind of short. It is hardy. Real world, he's done years and years of studies. It whoops every one of them. Yeah. Because it stands up and the height is about chest high. And I've got mine, like this is my first year with mine. So next year it's gonna really, I'm gonna really tell what it can do.
Yeah.
So
and that's another thing to tell the first year plot guys like Mr. Bill. We had a beautiful plot there, but this next year is going to be even better. We've conditioned that soil, we've conditioned that ground.
The longer you do it and the more you do,
Absolutely.
keep that health of it up.
Absolutely.
Now think about these guys, what you're talking about though, they're doing their first year plots. You know, that guy that maybe you've seen his clover, he's like, I got a half a bag left. What do you think the shelf life is on some of these seeds? Are you putting them in the refrigerator, just leaving them alone?
I'm going old
Are they
school.
good till next year? Just get rid of it, buy fresh next year? What do you think?
I'm going old school. My granddad, I've seen him pull sweet corn seeds out of a deep freezer that are probably 20 years old, and they sprout.
Yeah.
I'm putting them in the freezer.
Yeah.
Or find a closet in your house.
Or shade. You
Yeah.
want them.
Keep them out of moisture.
Yeah.
Keep them basement. Basement's good. Yeah. But I'm telling you that you can that freezer. But freezer is like a natural stratification.
Right.
Freezing is anyway.
Right. So, that guy that buys that expensive 50-pound bag of clover, he's got a half a bag left. He puts that in his deep freeze. You think that'll carry him over till the next year?
It very well should.
I've done
It
it.
very well
But
should.
I mean, the fail-safe method is find a closet in your house.
That's right. That's right. I leave everything in the shop. It's
shop out here.
fairly cool. And we'll run. I know it's 8 o'clock, guys. Bear with us. We want you to keep watching. We have a little bit more to talk about. Okay. Let's talk about fertilizer for just a second. So let's just say it's a triple 13. Just understand that the 13, 13, 13 is just it's just the numbers that represent the percentage of the NPK that's in it.
Right.
That's what that matters. So 10, 10, 10, you know, and it has a filler in it. It'll have some other things. But nitrogen, that is for leaf and stem development. Everybody knows that that's what really it boosts everything up. That is the N. The P is for phosphorus. It helps the roots take quickly to the soil. And I'm reading this because I don't want to mess it up, even though I do it all the time. Potassium, that is what promotes a healthy root system and helps fight diseases in the soil. And so, when I like to till because I think they're beautiful plots. So keep in mind when you're tilling, guys, if you have a tiller, I only go 3 inches. I'm trying to leave that dormant seed dormant. So nitrogen will actually absorb into the ground several inches.
Right.
But your P and your K, if you don't till it in, you're going to lose about 50% of the inch. Mm-hmm. And once you get to that 2-inch mark, if you just broadcast over the top, it's going to stop right there. And then you start looking at soil health, and you start looking at things like, if you want to get real deep in it, how beneficial earthworms are. You know, they're not going to climb up 3 inches to get to that. They're going to stay deep. They're going to poop. They're going to, you know, they are very good for creating water channels and helping the ground hold moisture. When you spray a plot, they're really good about eating, you know, when your stuff decays, they're really good about eating that. And they're just really good. There's several things, microorganisms, there's all this stuff we can get into. But at the end of the day, we're microplotting. We're not trying to be biologists here. I like to go 3 inches. Anything deeper than that, it tends to pull up a lot of that dormant seed and end up fighting weeds really bad. Mm-hmm. You know, and as Daniel and I, we were talking about it today. Your seed is really about the least expensive thing you can buy. That's your least expense on a food plot. Food plotting is not cheap if you want to do it right. If you want good results, you better do it right. If you want mediocre results, go out and buy mediocre seed and do a mediocre job. And that's it at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm. And even if you have a failure, there's something to learn from that. I learned more from failing on plots than I ever have with something going right.
Oh yeah.
I think you can spend just as much money. So the very first year, it wasn't my money, but I was helping.
Well, yeah, but still,
but it was my best friend. We planted a 4-acre plot. Spent $1,800, and I did the math for him on ours, and he was like, "Wow, I could have saved a lot of money if I would just if we did." Well, I wasn't in this yet, but it was like, so I mean, because I'd always heard, you know, if you buy food plot seed, it's high.
Yeah.
But the quality you're getting over. But we went and bought generic seed from. I mean, I'm not saying anything bad. It was cover crop seed, is what it was.
Right.
Just cheap.
Right.
Cheap cover crop seed, and it was still $1,800 for 4 acres.
Yeah.
But that was fertilizer in the mix. It was all together. But
then that's where people like Deer Grove come in. Okay, so our seed's gone up, our fertilizer's going up. But there's people that's making products that are starting to cut the dollars back a little bit, make it more affordable. And the products,
more people doing.
They work, man. They really do work. And so if you, one more time before we close, and we could talk this all night long. If you have any questions, please call, because I know we've been around the block a few times, and I know Mr. Jimmy was wanting to watch tonight just to hear about some of the warm season food plots. But when you start looking at your clovers, and you start looking at your summer, your warm season plots, you want to look for something, number one, that's very heat tolerant. Like your Dorado clover has a very long root system. It's a lot more drought hardy.
Ranches like Bermuda grass.
That's exactly right.
Runners.
You know, your chicory and your forage oats. I mean, your forage beans and all that. They just have a little longer mature rate. So you have your primary stuff, some primary stuff coming up, but your secondary stuff ends up being your primary. Does that make sense? We have a growth. We have difference in growth times. Right. So we're able to save some browse pressure on some beans and some stuff because of that. So it's a lot of things to look at, but God, we could go on and on. And I hope, I don't want to run y'all till 9 o'clock. I don't want to run you till 9 o'clock, but I hope that y'all had learned something tonight. That's the main thing. And is there anything else? I mean, I've got pages and pages and pages here. It's hard to talk food. It's hard to teach somebody in an hour what took you years
You can't.
to learn.
You can't do it.
And,
You're still going.
I mean, this is the second time I've been here,
right.
and we still haven't. We could probably do 2 more.
Yeah, we still haven't covered half of what
The
we need to.
burns.
Dry burning
Yeah.
and like the timber management.
Yeah,
part.
timber-
That's big.
Because food plots alone are good, but when you start managing your property and your timber, you're really getting into
Yeah.
some real valuable management.
Because you still have those, because in that October range,
Mhm.
your deer are leaving your food plots.
Mhm.
Those food plots are not going to be hit because they're going to what they know the best is your hard mass.
They do
And
know,
you
and that's,
have to manage that right too.
that's
Or
right.
or during that prime, like beginning of the rut, you're not gonna have anything on your property.
Right.
They're gonna be gone.
Yeah.
Like if you don't have that food that they're looking for,
Mhm.
well, during the rut it's a little different. But
Well, and that's kind of why we added that. I wanted to add the sugar beets in so bad, because they do start to sweeten. They do start to turn into that more the October, that dreaded
They do.
October lull.
Yeah.
They'll start turning into more of a carbohydrate type food, and that will get them off them being off those acorns a little bit, because acorns really aren't really that. I mean, they're energy. There's not a whole lot of benefit to them other than energy. They're very low in protein.
it's just
They're
what they're
just
used to.
that's just what over the years they've eaten over and over and over.
But if you now the other thing is persimmons.
I know. We need a 2-hour show. Somebody said,
Yeah.
Mr. Bill said.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's just like now the other downside to that is if your property doesn't have it, you got to have something to pull them out of.
That's right.
Now, can it be? Yeah, it can be done.
Yeah.
But it's
It's
they're
a
still-
process.
yeah.
It's a huge process.
in your surrounding properties.
It's like Mr. Bill.
And you can't control these surrounding properties.
That's right. But see,
You can help
we're
yours though.
we're controlling the property now, Mr. Bill's place up there, that we changed. The whole dynamics of that farm has changed after just 1 year of food plotting. I'm talking about
Oh, mine
seeing
too.
3 to 4 to 5 times the deer and turkey, and boy, when he sees us, we get the thumbs up. Boy. We love
Yeah.
Mr. Bill.
What did
Mine-
he say his neighbor said? We were up there doing the food plot, right?
Yeah, his neighbor had a
His
field
neighbor
full
says,
of field full.
he said, no deer gonna come in your plot. They're gonna come to mine. Mine's gonna be better. He drives down the road now, and every time he sees Mr. Bill, who did that?
So that was the big argument. The guy
Who goes
had
into
this
those
big
deer?
Nebraska plot that looked so lush and full, and it was like, I don't know what they got growing out there for you, but this is where it's going to be.
Yeah.
The guy said they just didn't need it.
Mr.
Well, that's
Bill's-
because they all come to that butt buster and they were tearing it up all winter long.
Mr. Bill seems saying, "Hey, Bob."
My big thing has not been food plots, really. It's been the management change.
Right.
Because I've
Right.
got more native grasses, I've got more habitat for them.
Yep.
When you start doing the habitat changes,
Mhm.
they know.
Oh yeah, Lord, I'm glad you do that, because I don't know if I could take on anything else other than food plots. As hard as I work at it, as much as I study it.
My thing is most of your management time is early spring, like January, February.
Yeah.
February. I did a lot of mine in February, but you can do like if y'all are done. I know y'all hunt till the very end this summer.
Mhm. January.
And but right when January's done, you got February and March,
Mhm.
right before your trees, the sap starts going up.
Mhm.
You've got a little bit of time there.
And we've got
Kill
some
them trees.
places that we want to do some prescribed burns, and but we didn't get to this year. It just, you were busy. You're looking at a farm now that's got a lot of pines on part of it. You're fixing to get ready to do some stuff on there that's going to help that property a
Yeah.
bunch.
A lot of
Bunch.
mine is you're girdling your tree, your unwanted trees, and your hacking squirt too.
Mhm.
Those have missed a lot. I
Mhm.
think
So you're
Not a
a
lot
big
of
fan of the hack and squirt.
absolutely.
I'm a fan of gumball trees and full hinge cut,
Yeah,
because
there's nothing wrong with them.
no,
Those are good too.
and they grow such a hardy sprout
Mhm.
out of that.
Yeah.
So
I'm saying like your hacking squirt on your
unwanted stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
So sometimes some people are going to tell you that your elm trees are junk. They eat the young growth.
Mm-hmm.
I don't typically kill them.
Mm-hmm.
If I do anything, I'll just lop it off and let it grow.
Let it grow.
Maple trees,
Mm-hmm.
hate them.
Mm-hmm.
They're good for nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, I know somebody's going to say,
In the hunting world, they're good for nothing.
yeah, around your house they're good for nothing too, because I got a bunch around my house and they're just growing in my pipes.
That's right. Oh, you're exactly right.
That make it hard on me to mow. I don't like maple trees.
It's 8:11.
So
Jimmy McGee said, yeah, he's gonna watch us a few times. And guys, we're sorry. Look, and we sit here and we worry about this thing running for an hour when we could run it for as long as we really want to. If they want to watch, they're gonna watch, and we want to provide for them. But there is a lot more that we could talk about, and you can call any of us, and we will get you the answers you need. If it's land management side or soil management side, Mason's the guy. Daniel's been with me on a lot of stuff that we're doing. Mac's with me on a lot of stuff that we're doing. And I've learned school of hard knocks, man. I have made a ton of mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
And I have learned from them. And I still have some that I struggle with, but we've been growing some pretty good stuff.
Sure.
And we've been seeing a lot of deer. But it is Easter weekend.
Mm-hmm.
We do have today's Good Friday. We hope everybody's had a wonderful day. I hope everybody plans to go to worship service this Sunday, Easter, and I hope that everybody spends afterwards time with their family. And if y'all don't mind, we always like to close with something from the Bible. If you don't mind me reading a few verses, are y'all okay with that? So I'm gonna read a couple verses here. John 3:16. Everybody knows that one. For God so loved the world that He gave His only Son, that whoever believes in Him shall not perish but have eternal life. And then Mark 16 verse 6. Don't be alarmed, He said. You are looking for Jesus, the Nazarene, who was crucified, and He has risen.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, if you hear my voice, if you're watching this, and if you're not a Christian, and I say this every week, you're not living. I hope that something will burden your heart heavily tonight before you go to bed, and you will go to your knees and you will ask Jesus Christ to be your Lord and Savior.
Mm-hmm.
And then they'll see what living's all about. So with that being said, I love you guys. Thank y'all for supporting us and watching. And everybody, please spend some time with the Lord this weekend. So, Mac, you got anything before we go, buddy?
Thanks for watching. See you guys next week.
Daniel?
Spend some time with your family. You can't get that back.
Absolutely, you can. Mason? Mason's just become our guy, man. We love him. And sorry that we've been all around the block with everybody, but I hope y'all have learned something from this. So, everybody, thank y'all for tuning in once again. Y'all have a great weekend. Happy Easter, everybody. And we truly appreciate y'all's support. And it's I got to go spray again tomorrow, so it's almost bedtime. I'm tired. Goodbye, everybody.
See you.